Next! The clerk's voice was flat, his eyes flicking from the computer screen to the woman at the counter. She leaned against the marble desk, her purse tucked under her arm like she owned the place. "My room better be upgraded," she said, her voice dripping entitlement. "I always get upgraded," the clerk typed nervously. "I'll check availability, ma'am." I stood just a few feet away, waiting. My suitcase handle dug into my palm. My reservation had been confirmed weeks ago. I shouldn't have felt nervous, but my stomach twisted anyway. The woman finally turned, her eyes scanning me up and down. Her lips curled into a smirk. "Hope they don't mess up your booking," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "You people always cause confusion," the words sliced. Before I could answer, she laughed. Not a polite laugh. A sharp, dismissive laugh that bounced off the walls and pulled the attention of everyone in the lobby. The clerk froze, his fingers still on the keyboard. "Excuse me?" My voice came out steadier than I felt. She tilted her head, feigning innocence. "Oh, don't act so sensitive. It was just a joke." "That wasn't a joke," I replied. My throat tightened, but I refused to let my voice shake. "You laughed at me like I didn't belong here." Her eyes widened slightly, then narrowed. "Belong? This is a 5-star hotel. If you're that insecure, maybe you're in the wrong place." The laughter still echoed in my head. I glanced at the clerk, hoping for backup, but he looked down at his screen like the marble counter had suddenly become the most interesting thing in the world. "Sir, may I have your ID?" he asked quietly. I handed it over, forcing my hands not to tremble. The silence around us was louder than her laugh had been. Guests shifted uncomfortably, but no one spoke. No one ever speaks. I turned back to her. "Do you find it funny that the only black person in this lobby is the one you singled out?" Her smile didn't falter. "Funny? No. Predictable? Maybe." A man in a business suit behind me muttered, "Ma'am, that's out of line." His voice was low, almost apologetic, as if he already regretted stepping in. She snapped her head toward him. "Mind your business." "I said what I said." The clerk cleared his throat. "Sir, your reservation is here. King's Suite, 3 nights." "Thank you," I said, though my voice cracked slightly. I slid my card across the counter, my eyes still locked on hers. "You laughed at me, but I'm the one checking into the penthouse suite. Think about that." Her smirk faltered, but only for a moment. "Money doesn't buy class," she shot back. I leaned in slightly, my words low and deliberate. "Neither does your skin." The silence shattered into murmurs. Guests whispered. The man in the suit shifted closer to me, his expression firm. The clerk's hands shook as he swiped my card. "Your room is ready, sir," he said quickly, his voice almost a whisper. I took the key card. My fingers tightened around it like it was proof of something bigger than a hotel stay, proof that I belonged. I turned toward the elevator, dragging my suitcase behind me. My heart hammered, but my face stayed calm. Behind me, I heard her scoff, "Unbelievable," playing the race card again. I stopped mid-step, then turned slowly. My voice carried across the lobby. "It's not a card when it's my life." For the first time, she had no reply. The elevator doors opened. I stepped inside, the whispers of the crowd following me. As the doors slid shut, her laugh still echoed in my head, but so did my own words. Silence isn't weakness, it's the beginning of the fight. I sank into one of the leather chairs in the lounge, the laughter still clawing at my chest. No matter how many times I blinked, I could hear it again, sharp, ugly, echoing. My hand gripped the armrest harder than I realized. "Marcus." I looked up. David, my colleague, walked toward me. His tie loosened like he'd run here. "I saw what happened," he said. His voice was low, but not low enough to drown out the whispers buzzing nearby. "Why didn't you push back harder? You could have made a scene." "Shut her down right there." My jaw clenched. "You think silence makes me small?" "That's not what I said. It's what you meant." I leaned forward. "Every time I open my mouth, I'm angry. Every time I stay quiet, I'm weak. You tell me, David, what's the right answer? Which one lets me walk out of here whole?" He rubbed his forehead. "Marcus, you're a CEO. People look up to you. Don't I think what?" My voice cut through the hum of the lounge. "That the color of my suit saves me? That my title makes her laugh less sharp? She didn't see a CEO. She saw me, and in her eyes, that was enough to laugh. A woman sitting a few tables away shifted uncomfortably. I caught her glance, quick and guilty, before she bent her head to whisper to the man beside her. I didn't need to hear the words. Gossip has a way of traveling faster than truth. David lowered his voice. I'm just saying, if you had pushed back, people would have noticed. Maybe they'd have stood up for you. I laughed bitterly. Noticed? They noticed just fine. They noticed her laugh. They noticed my face. They noticed the silence. What they didn't notice was their own mouths staying shut. He sighed. You can't fight every battle. I leaned back, staring at the chandelier above. Then why does every battle find me? For a moment, neither of us spoke. The air carried too many words already, snippets of conversations, fragments of judgment. I could almost hear them. He's exaggerating. She didn't mean it. Why make it about race? David finally said. I just don't want to see you burned out, Marcus. You carry too much already. My voice cracked, though I tried to keep it steady. Carrying it doesn't mean I accept it. His eyes softened, but before he could respond, the clerk from earlier walked hesitantly into the lounge. His steps were quick but unsure, like he wanted to vanish as soon as he spoke. Sir, he said quietly, stopping at the edge of the carpet. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for what happened out there. I looked at him, waiting. He shifted nervously. I should have said something. I wanted to. But if I had, my job... The words trailed off, his shoulders folding inward. David muttered, That's not good enough. I raised my hand. Let him speak. The clerk swallowed. It's not that I didn't see it. I did. I see it more than you think. But in this job, one wrong word and they replace you. I didn't defend you because silence keeps me here. And I hate that. The honesty stung worse than denial. I leaned forward. Do you know what your silence cost me? His eyes filled with something close to shame. I do, but it cost me too. Every time I stay quiet, I lose a piece of myself. I wanted to hate him. I wanted to shout at him the way I shouted at David, but the trembling in his voice told me what his silence had already stolen. Silence protects some, I said slowly, but it imprisons the rest of us. The clerk nodded, tears forming at the edge of his eyes. I'm sorry. David looked at me, then at him. And tomorrow? What happens when it's someone else standing at that counter? The clerk dropped his gaze. I don't know. Maybe next time I'll find my voice. I stood, my legs unsteady. Next time? I repeated, the words heavy. Do you know how many next times I've lived through? No one answered. The whispers grew louder as I walked past the tables, dragging the weight of their silence behind me. The boardroom smelled of polished wood and stale coffee, but all I heard was her laugh. It followed me here, bouncing off the walls even before I opened my mouth. I want to address what happened yesterday, I said, my voice cutting through the shuffle of papers. At the hotel, a woman laughed at me when the clerk hesitated over my reservation. She mocked me for being black in a lobby full of silence. A pause. Then Daniel, one of the senior directors, leaned back in his chair. Marcus, maybe you misunderstood her tone. My stomach twisted. You mean I imagined her laugh? He shrugged. I'm saying tone is tricky. Sarcasm, awkward humor, it happens. Why escalate something that could have been innocent? Innocent. The word burned. She told me to my face that I didn't belong. And then she laughed. How do you twist that into innocence? Karen, another board member, chimed in. Marcus, we support you. But you need to understand, not everyone sees things through the same lens. The lens of racism? I shot back. Now that's not fair, Karen said quickly. We're on your side. We just don't want to overreact. Overreact. That word again. My hand slammed against the table before I could stop it. Overreact? Do you think I enjoy reliving that laugh? Do you think I want to drag this into this room? That laugh was a knife, and you're asking me if maybe I cut myself. The room went silent. Papers stilled. Pens stopped moving. Daniel sighed. You're letting your emotions drive the narrative. You're a CEO. Keep perspective. My perspective? I leaned forward, eyes locked on his. My perspective is walking into rooms like this and knowing one laugh can undo 30 years of work. My perspective is being told to stay calm while I'm bleeding inside. That's my perspective. No one answered. The air thickened with unease. I turned slowly, my eyes scanning the faces around the table. Blank, polite, detached. as if they were more afraid of my words than the woman's cruelty. Do you know what hurts more than her laugh? My voice trembled, but I didn't care. This, sitting here, watching the people who call themselves my peers shrink away from the truth, pretending it's about tone or misunderstanding when really it's about comfort. Your comfort, Karen whispered. Marcus, we're not against you. Then why does it feel like I'm alone in this room? The silence was louder than the hotel lobby. When the meeting adjourned, chairs scraped back in hurried retreat. No one looked me in the eye. No one, except a young voice at my side. Mr. Johnson? A whisper came as I gathered my notes. I turned. An intern, barely 20, eyes wide but steady. I believe you, I studied him. His voice shook, but not with doubt, with conviction. My brother, he continued, he faced the same thing. He told me once, silence cuts deeper than insults. I saw it today, I wanted you to know. The weight in my chest shifted, not lighter but steadier. I placed a hand on his shoulder. Thank you. Don't lose that voice. Ever. As he walked out, I stayed behind, staring at the empty chairs. The echoes in the boardroom weren't just her laugh anymore. They were theirs. The shrugs, the dismissals, the silence, and somewhere inside me, a sharper resolve took root. Chapter 4. The Gathering Storm. Marcus, have you seen this? David's voice came through the phone before I could even say hello. What is it now? I asked, though my chest was already tight. There's a video. Someone recorded it, the laugh. It's everywhere. Twitter, LinkedIn, even the morning news cycle. I closed my eyes. That sound again, now echoing across the world. So the whole country hears what I heard. They're debating it, David said. Some say it's proof of racism. Others claim you're blowing it out of proportion. It's a mess. I hung up and called my lawyer, Rebecca. She answered on the second ring. I assume you've seen the clip? I said. I have. It's viral. But Marcus, before you do anything, I'm not calling you for caution, Rebecca. I'm calling because I need to know what my options are. She exhaled into the line. You could pursue legal action. Harassment, discrimination, reputational harm. But understand this. The moment you file, the headlines won't be about her laugh. They'll be about you. The combative black CEO. The one who couldn't let it go. I gripped the phone tighter. It's not just about me. It's about the next black executive who walks into that lobby. Do you know how many times we've been told to let it go? That's why people keep laughing. Her voice softened. I know, but you have to weigh the cost. Public trials, endless scrutiny, people digging into your past. They'll twist everything. I sat in silence, staring at the dark skyline outside my office window. So what? I protect my reputation and sacrifice my dignity? Before she could answer, another line buzzed. I switched over. It was James, an old friend. Marcus, I saw the video, he said quickly. Man, don't do this. Don't take it to court. Why not? Because you'll lose more than you gain. People love drama until it gets ugly. Then they'll turn on you. Why risk it? Because if I don't, she wins. They all win. Or maybe you win by walking away, he argued. Show you're above it. Don't give them the satisfaction of painting you as bitter. Bitter. Combative. Angry. The words stacked like stones on my chest. You ever been laughed at like that, James? My voice cracked. You ever had your existence mocked in front of a room full of silence? He didn't answer. His silence was its own confession. Later that evening, I sat with Rebecca in her office. She leaned across the table. You need to decide what matters more, your peace or your stand. Because the storm has already started, Marcus. Once you step into it, there's no going back. I looked at her, then at the folder she'd slid toward me. Legal documents, waiting for my signature. I've lived through storms my whole life, I whispered. This time I'm not running from it. Her eyes locked with mine. Then you'd better be ready to fight. I nodded, my hand hovering over the pen. Inside, the fear churned, but beneath it, something steadier burned. For the first time since that laugh, I felt the silence break. The conference room was quiet when I walked in, but I could feel the air humming with tension. She sat across the table, arms folded, lips curled like she'd already won. My lawyer leaned toward me, whispering, "Stay calm. Let her unravel herself." She spoke first, her voice sharp. This is ridiculous. You people always twist things into race. A laugh becomes an accusation. A joke becomes a crime. My throat tightened, but my voice stayed steady. You didn't laugh at a mistake. You laughed at me. Don't dress it up as humor, she scoffed. Victimhood has become fashionable. Every look, every word, you twisted into oppression. My lawyer raised a hand. Stick to the incident. Her eyes burned into me. He's making me out to be some monster for laughing. Is this what America is now? I can't breathe without someone crying racism? I leaned forward, my palms pressed flat against the table. You didn't laugh at the situation, you laughed at my existence. You knew exactly what you were doing. The clerk shifted uneasily in his seat at the end of the table. My lawyer nodded toward him. Tell us what you saw. His voice wavered. I remember her words. I remember the laugh. It wasn't, he paused, swallowed hard. It wasn't a friendly laugh. It was meant to cut. She snapped at him instantly. Don't lie. You're scared of losing your job, so you'll say anything to save yourself. His hands trembled. I am scared. That's why I stayed quiet. But I heard it. Everyone in that lobby heard it. Murmurs spread across the room. I locked my eyes on her. You claim it was nothing, yet your first defense is to belittle me. If it was harmless, why are you so angry now? Her voice rose, cracking under the weight. Because you're painting me as racist. You think I'd risk my reputation for a cheap laugh? You think I hate you because you're black? I didn't blink. I don't need to think it. You showed it. The room fell silent. For the first time, I saw a crack in her armor. Another witness, a man in a suit who'd been in the lobby that day, cleared his throat. I didn't want to get involved. But yes, I remember. It wasn't just a laugh. It was cruel. She turned on him. So now you're against me too? Cowards, all of you. Afraid to admit he's making a spectacle out of nothing? I steadied my breath, my words deliberate. Every excuse you make shows the truth. You mocked me in public because you thought no one would challenge you. You thought silence would protect you? But silence is breaking. Her face flushed red. You're twisting... No. My voice cut sharper than hers. I'm reclaiming what you tried to strip away. The murmurs grew louder, voices shifting like a tide. I caught fragments. She really said that? Unbelievable. He's right. Her eyes darted around the room, searching for allies, but none met her gaze. I leaned back, the tension in my chest easing slightly. You laughed to make me small, but every word you've spoken since has only made you smaller. For the first time, she looked shaken. The room wasn't hers anymore. The tide had turned. Marcus, I can't keep defending her. I turned. A man I'd once seen at her side, Greg, one of her closest allies, stood in the hallway outside my office. His shoulders sagged, his voice almost pleading. She crossed the line, he said. I didn't realize how far until now. I narrowed my eyes. Now you realize? After the video? After the hearings? When it cost you nothing? His face flushed. I thought I was helping. I told myself she was just careless with words. But hearing her in that mediation, seeing her rage, it was different. I was wrong. Wrong? My voice was sharper than I intended. Wrong is forgetting your keys. Wrong is misplacing a file. You weren't wrong. You were comfortable. And comfort kept you silent. He shifted uneasily. I regret it, I laughed bitterly. Regret is cheap when you pay for it with someone else's pain. For a moment he didn't move. Then he whispered, I'm sorry, Marcus. I let the words hang, empty and weightless. Sorry meant nothing now. Sorry didn't erase the echo of that laugh or the silence that followed it. Later that night, I overheard two of her colleagues whispering outside the courthouse. She went too far, one said. She always had that edge, the other replied. We just ignored it. Thought it was harmless. Ignored. Harmless. The words twisted in my chest. They weren't describing her cruelty. They were describing their own comfort again. Racism doesn't collapse in silence, it survives there. Only when it's exposed do people scramble to distance themselves. At home, my brother pulled me aside. His eyes searched mine, heavy with worry. Marcus, every victory of yours costs you scars, he said quietly. I see it. The way you come back from these fights, tired, raw. You don't have to carry this alone. I swallowed hard. If I stop carrying it, who will? He shook his head. You think being strong means taking every blow. But strength is knowing when to protect yourself too. His words stung because they came from love. But love doesn't erase wounds. It only reminds you they're visible. Do you want me to walk away? I asked him. I want you alive, whole. Not a man broken down just to prove a point. I looked at him, the weight of his fear pressing on me. Every scar I carry is proof that silence didn't win. If that breaks me, then so be it. His eyes filled, but he said nothing more. In those days, confessions found me everywhere. Whispers in hallways, hushed voices admitting she was cruel. I never liked it. I should have spoken up. I wanted to scream each time. Where were you then? When her laugh cut me open? When silence drowned me? But all I said again and again was the truth that kept me steady. Regret changes nothing if it comes after the damage is done. And the more they confessed, the clearer it became. Her empire of protection wasn't built on loyalty. It was built on silence, and silence was finally cracking. Chapter 7. The Reckoning. Court is now in session. The judge's gavel echoed, but it was her laugh that filled my head. Even before the evidence was played, I could hear it, cold, cutting. My lawyer, Rebecca, rose first. Your Honor, the incident we are addressing begins with a single sound. A laugh. The screen flickered. Then it played, the short video that had gone viral. Her voice, her laugh, captured forever. Every seat in the courtroom seemed to stiffen. The judge nodded. Proceed. Rebecca turned toward her. Do you deny this is your voice? Her chin lifted. That was me, yes. But it's being twisted. I laughed because the clerk fumbled with the system, not because of him. I leaned forward, my voice steady. You laughed at me. Not the clerk. At me. She snapped her head toward me. Stop pretending you know what was in my head. You just want to play the victim. I looked at the judge. That laugh told me I was invisible. It told me my presence in that lobby was the punchline. Her voice rose. That's ridiculous. Everyone laughs. Everyone makes jokes. You're turning this into a spectacle. The judge raised a hand. Ms. Walker, you will control yourself. Rebecca pressed again. You said in earlier testimony that your laugh was innocent. But here under oath, you admit you directed words at Mr. Johnson before laughing. Which is it? Her face flushed. It was nothing. A misunderstanding. Misunderstandings don't make entire lobbies fall silent, I said. People knew exactly what they heard. Her composure cracked. You're lying! You wanted attention and now you're dragging my name through the mud. I stood, my voice low but unwavering. Attention? Do you think I wanted to sit in this courtroom? Do you think I wanted to be reduced to a clip on the internet? I wanted dignity, that's all. And you stole it with one laugh. The judge's gaze lingered on me, then shifted back to her. Ms. Walker, you will answer directly. Rebecca called the clerk to the stand. His hands shook as he swore in, but his voice carried across the room. I stayed quiet that day, he said, eyes on the floor. I shouldn't have. I was afraid of losing my job. But I saw everything. I heard her words. That laugh. It wasn't harmless. It was cruel, she shot up from her chair. You're betraying me now. After all, Enough, the judge said firmly. The clerk's voice cracked as tears slid down his face. I've replayed it in my head 100 times. I kept asking myself why I didn't speak. But I can't lie now. I saw everything. The room stilled. For a moment, even her rage froze. Rebecca closed her file. No further questions. The judge leaned forward, voice calm. The court has heard enough. I sat down slowly, my chest heaving. The laugh still echoed, but this time it sounded different, smaller, weaker. Her empire of pride had crumbled in its own echo, and for the first time, I felt the silence in the room wasn't against me. It was with me. The city was quiet when I stepped outside. Streetlights hummed, and the night air wrapped around me like a thin cloak. My shoes echoed against the pavement, but all I heard were voices, the ones that cut, the ones that healed, the ones that finally dared to speak. Marcus, I turned. David walked up beside me, his hands shoved deep into his pockets. His voice was softer than I'd ever heard it. Was it worth it? He asked. I let the silence hang between us. Then I answered, I don't fight for applause. I fight so the next time the silence breaks sooner. He studied me for a moment. You think it really changes anything? Yes. My voice didn't waver. Because every voice that cracked open today, every whisper, every confession, was one less silence tomorrow. Change doesn't roar. It starts in fragments. He exhaled slowly. You looked calm in there, strong. I don't know how you did it. I wasn't calm, I admitted. Every word shook me. Every denial felt like a knife. But strength isn't the absence of fear. It's refusing to let fear decide the outcome. David nodded, eyes fixed on the ground. I should have done more. I keep thinking about that night in the lounge. How I told you not to push back. I thought I was protecting you. I see now I was protecting myself. I stopped walking and looked at him. You don't have to carry that guilt, but you do have to learn from it. Next time you see silence, break it. His throat tightened. I will. The night stretched quiet again. I let my thoughts unravel aloud. Her laugh tried to shrink me. Their silence tried to bury me, but neither worked. Do you know why? Why? Because truth always outlives arrogance. He looked at me, his expression caught between sorrow and pride. So what now? I smiled faintly. Now I live. I keep building, keep speaking, keep walking into rooms they said I didn't belong in. We stopped at the corner where our paths split. He hesitated before saying, Marcus, you made history today. I shook my head. No, I reminded history it can't erase me. He turned away and I continued down the quiet street alone. My mind replayed every moment, the sting of her words, the weight of silence, the trembling voices that finally broke free. I whispered into the night, more to myself than to the world. Her laugh no longer echoes. It belongs to history, and for the first time, I felt free.